Welcome back to Jess of the North. Today we are making country wines, or at least the first step of country wine. As always, I'm sharing with you how I do this process, which for me involves the element of surprise on your alcohol content because I do not do a specific gravity reading. If this is something you're going to want to know, there are numerous sources available to help you find and obtain those materials and show you how to use them. Since I'm making this just for me to have something to sip on while I read, and with everything else I have going on in life, this is about as much effort as I want to put into it. If you want to attempt this process with me, I would recommend you pick your type of wine. Today I'm doing Rhubarb and Mint. I've done that before. It's what I have on hand. I think it makes a nice spring wine. I just enjoy it. Next, just like with other types of food preservation, you want to ensure that you have clean materials and workspaces to work in. Essentially, you're trying to ensure that the only flavors that are developing in your fermentation process are the ones you want to develop and are available to the yeast. There's all sorts of home starter kits available from your retailer of choice, but for this first step, you are really just going to need a food-grade bucket and a way to ensure you can keep out gross things like fruit flies. If fruit flies are going to get into your mixture where it's fermenting, they would add bacteria that you're not wanting in part of your process. That's why we went to all the effort to make it a clean environment. This first step is setting up what's called a must. Really, it is called a must. So I'm dumping in my rhubarb that I've saved, my mint. I used 3 different varieties and containers I have around the house. I added sugar, filtered water, and then yeast. And then these are all going to get stirred up. They sit in the bucket in a warm place for a week. I stir that mixture once a day with a clean utensil. Once you have your bucket contained, that is the end of step 1. You leave it alone for 7 days except for stirring once. And this first step is fairly fast and somewhat aggressive, which is why it's in a bucket for containment and not a cute little jar. You do not want to skip the bucket and move straight to a more sealed container. I have done that exactly once and had my airlock explode, which gave me fermented grape juice on the ceiling. I don't want that for you. I didn't want that for me, but here we are. Next video, we're going to go over moving this mixture into a secondary fermentation container. Thanks for coming along with me, and I'll see you for part 2.